It's the bottom of the hour. Time for the top of the news from the Fox News deck. The North Korean regime conducted systematic, widespread, and gross human rights violations under the dictator Kim Jong-un, and the international community must bring it to a stop. That, in short, is the finding of a brand new report from the United Nations, which includes troubling details at very best of those abuses. The study even includes drawings from a former North Korean prisoner who says authorities beat and tortured him because he frequently traveled to China to secure money for his family. He says this drawing depicts how the interrogators forced him to stand in stressful position, and adds that prison workers beat him with wooden clubs until he could scream no more. The report cites another former group of prisoners, one who claims guards kept her in a water tank for hours on end, forcing her to stand on her tiptoes to be able to breathe. There were stories of long needles which guards jammed underneath their captives' fingernails, and hot sauce which they poured onto their faces. When prison officials weren't torturing them or forcing them to work, they reportedly made them sit or kneel in a single position for the entire day, punishing those who moved or looked around with beatings and starvations. Some inmates were so desperate for food, they say they resorted to eating grass and snakes. The study also indicates that Kim Jong-un spends nearly $650 million a year on luxury items, more than twice the amount his notorious father did. All of this while his people starve to death. Tara Miller is a former CIA analyst. She's now a research fellow at the Washington think tank. Is any of this overly exaggerated based on our prior knowledge of situations there?
I don't think it's overly exaggerated. I mean, when you look at the report's 372 pages, and it reads like a combination of A Problem from Hell and Republic of Fear. And I use those terms because, I mean, these are problems that Sam Power, UN ambassador, has written about in her book, Problem from Hell, and these are things we've seen before in countries like Iraq, and it's documented in the book Republic of Fear in the Iraq case. And this reads like those because the amount of atrocities that are documented are just disturbing, appalling, and heartbreaking, to say the least.
You know, one of the things I was struck, I'm thinking, all right, Central African Republic, all right, Syria, and yet North Korea is worse and has been and continues to be, and nobody does anything about it.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the problems has been, and I don't want to say it's a full problem, but the focus has been so much on the nuclear issue. And we've focused so much on the nuclear issue. And much like with Syria, how the debate turned on the chemical weapons issue, we forgot about in the public dialogue the humanitarian aspects to both these situations, which are enormous. And they're related to the security aspects of both these situations as well, in Syria and in North Korea. You know, you wonder, though, what does it matter what the world does or wants to do, as long as you've got a member of the permanent 5 on the Security Council there to block any votes, and they've proved they will, nothing's going to change. Well, you're right on point in that we do expect that China has already indicated it's not going to take action on the Security Council. So China would be the veto to prevent the Security Council from referring this to the ICC, the international court that the report recommends take action on this. However, there are other mechanisms that the UN can take into action. It can set up an ad hoc tribunal. It can have the General Assembly gather or convene a group of states to try to set up a tribunal. There can be more targeted sanctions by the United States on key leaders or key officials documented in this report. But I mean, when you see this report, it's a call to action. It really is. And I think that, I mean, it is just a report. It's not action in and of itself. But I think it represents a huge effort on the part of the UN to bring this into the public's awareness and the public's attention. People have known about this who study North Korea. It is a black hole in terms of a lot of specifics on intelligence, but people have known the level of, repression that's going on there, and the torture, mass executions, forced abortions documented in this report.
Tara Miller live with us in Washington. Tara, it's good of you to be here. Thanks.